Good morning. This is Sumana working as Assistant Professor at Department of Biochemistry, Government City College, Nayapur, Hyderabad. Today's our topic is models of replication and Michelson-Stokes experiment. What is the replication? First, before going to the models of replication, I would like to explain about the replication. In molecular biology, DNA replication is the biological process of producing two identical replicas of DNA from one original DNA molecule. See, replication means producing of replica. It means generating the new DNA molecule from a old new molecule. And DNA replication occurs in all the living organisms, acting as most essential part for biological inheritance. DNA replication occurs in all the living organisms, acting as most essential part of for biological inheritance. Without the replication, the inheritance cannot be occur, and the cell possesses the distinctive property of division, which makes replication of DNA is essential. Now the three models of DNA replication. Before the confirmation which model is followed for the replication, the scientists have proposed three models for the DNA replication. Those are semi-conservative replication, conservative replication, and the dispersive replication. And in the semi-conservative replication, what is happening is, in this model, the two strands of DNA, actually DNA consisting of two strands, one is 3' 5' strand and other is 5' 3' strands, which are complementary to each other. The two strands of DNA unwind from each other and each act as a template for synthesis of a new complementary strand. Okay, each strand of DNA can act as a template for the synthesis of the new strand, and this results in the two DNA molecules with one original strand and one new strand. With this process, semi means partially or 50%, conservative means the parental nuclear strand is conservating. It means 50% new and 50% old. That's why it is called as semi. Semi means half. Conservative means which is conserving the parental characteristics. That's why it is called semi-conservative replication. The new DNA strands are with one old strand and one new strand in the semi-conservative replication. And the second model of replication is conservative replication. In this model, DNA replication results in one molecule that consisting of both original DNA strands, which is identical to the original DNA molecule, and the another molecule that consisting of two new DNA strands with exactly the same sequence as the original molecule. And here why it is called full conservative or conservative, because after the replication two strands will be produced. Out of these two strands, out of these two DNA molecules, one DNA molecule is completely identical with the parental molecule. That's why it is called conservative, which consisting both strands as same as parent, and the other DNA molecule will consisting of two new strands with exactly the same sequence as the original molecule. And the third model is the dispersive replication. In the dispersive model, DNA replication results in two DNA molecules that are mixtures of or hybrids of parental and daughter DNA. In this model, each individual strand is a patchwork of original and new DNA. Here there is no continuity. It is like patchwork, like one part of the DNA will be with the old one and the other with the new one. In that way, it will be like patchwork of original and new DNA. We'll see in the diagram. See, if you see the three models, this is the parental DNA. In what is happening in the conservative model is, after replication, two DNA molecules are produced. Out of these two, one is same as the parental molecule, that's why it is called conservative, and the other DNA molecule is completely consisting of two new DNA strands. And when it comes to the semi-conservative model, this is the parental DNA. After the replication, two DNA molecules are produced, and these two DNA molecules, each DNA molecule consisting of one old strand, that is one parental strand, and one new strand. That's why it is called semi-conservative. Semi means 50% of parental DNA is conserved in each DNA molecule. And in the dispersive model, see, this is the parental molecule and the replication has occurred. It is like patchwork. Part of the DNA molecule is old or parental, and part is new strand, and part is older parental DNA. In this way, it looks like a patchwork of both original and new DNA molecules. These are the three models of DNA replication. But originally, the replication follows which type of model, that is explained by the experiment, Michelson and Stahl's experiment. The DNA replication is following which of these three models for replication? Michelson and Stahl's experiment. Michelson-Stahl conducted their famous experiment on DNA replication using E. coli bacteria as a model system. They began by growing E. coli in a medium or a nutrient broth containing a heavy isotope of nitrogen. Actually, the original nitrogen will be in the form of N14, but here they have grown the E. coli in the medium which consisting of N95, which is a heavy isotope of nitrogen. Why they have taken the nitrogen? Because the DNA consisting of the nitrogen bases, purines and pyrimidines, which consisting of nitrogen. So this isotope will get inserted into the nitrogen bases of the nucleotides of DNA. And isotope is just a version of an element that differs from other versions by a number of neutrons in its nucleus. And when grown on a medium containing heavy N95, the bacteria took up the nitrogen and used it to synthesize new biological molecules, including DNA. And after many generations growing in the N15, the nitrogenous bases of the bacterial DNA were all labeled with the heavy nitrogen. Okay, after many generations, all the bacterial DNA will be labeled with the N15. Then the bacteria were switched to a medium containing light N14 isotope and allowed to grow for several generations. See, until the whole DNA of bacteria is labeled with the N15, they have grown in the media consisting of N15. After that, they have shifted these bacteria into the media which consisting of light nitrogen, that is N14. And they have grown it for several generations. And DNA made after the switch would have to be made up of N14, as this would have been the only nitrogen available for the DNA synthesis. See, whatever the nutrients or molecules are using in the media, only those can be taken by the bacteria for the synthesis. And what they did is, actually Michelson and Stahl knew how often E. coli cells divided. It means E. coli cells takes 20 minutes to get divided. So they were able to collect small samples in each generation and extract the and purify the DNA. For each 20 minutes, they have collected the E. coli and they have extracted and purified the DNA from the collected E. coli cells. They then measure the density of the DNA. After the purification of the DNA, they have done the centrifugation by using density gradient centrifugation. With this, what happens is that the two isotopes of nitrogen will get separated, and this method separates the molecules such as DNA into the bands by spinning them at high speeds in the presence of another molecule such as cesium chloride that forms a density gradient from top to the bottom of the spinning tube. With the use of the cesium chloride, which maintains the density gradient in the test tube, how it create the density means from the top side it is light in density. When it comes to the up to the bottom, the density will get increased from top to bottom. See, when you use the centrifugation tube, with the use of the cesium chloride, which will create the density gradients at density band, the density will be increasing from top to bottom. And the density gradient centrifugation allows very small differences like those between N15 and N14 labeled DNA to be detected. Here you can see in the diagram that with the use of the cesium chloride, when they have done the density gradient centrifugation, the N15, which is more in density compared to the N14, which is forming the band below the N14. N14 DNA is forming the band at the upside of the centrifugation tube, and N15 is forming at the bottom of the centrifugation tube. And here, what are the results of the experiment? What I said that for each 20 minutes they have collected the bacteria and purified the DNA. When DNA from the first 4 generations of E. coli was analyzed, it produced the following pattern. If you see in this diagram, this is the centrifugation, which is consisting of cesium chloride, which can create the density gradient, and all the DNA initially labeled with the N15 nitrogen. See, this whole DNA is consisting of N15, which is shown here in the red color, and after this is consisting of only N15, and now they have shifted the cells from N15 to N14 medium. Take a sample prior to adding. See, before adding this bacteria into the N14 medium, they have collected a few samples and they have done the centrifugation, which is represented as generation 0 before introducing into the N14 medium. And here if you see, the band is at the here, which is 100%, which consisting of only N15, so that it's producing a single band, which is producing a single band. After that, they have shifted the E. coli cells into the media which consisting of N14, add N15 labeled cells to the N14 media and grow for 4 generations. And after each generation, they have collected the cells and purified the DNA and done the density gradient centrifugation. And after shifting into N14, after 20 minutes, it means after one generation, that is generation 1, they have done the centrifugation. Then also they have found only a single band. Actually here 2 types of nitrogen DNAs are there, that is one is consisting of N15 and N14. Here only one band is produced, and in the generation 2, that is after 40 minutes, that is 50% is N15 and 50% is N14. And after third generation, 75% is N14 and 25% is N15. And after fourth generation, N14 is 88% and N15 is only 12%. Here if you see, only the first generation is consisting of the N15, and after shifting into the N14, only N14 is the source of nitrogen for the DNA synthesis. So the N14 content is increasing and N15 is remaining constant. And the analysis of the each generation. See, in the generation 0, what is happening? DNA isolated from cells at the start of the experiment, that is generation 0, just before the switch to N14, produced a single band after centrifugation. It's producing a single band. This result made sense because the DNA should have contained only heavy N15 at that time, which consisting of only N15 in the 0 generation. And in generation 1, what is happening? The DNA isolated after one generation, that is one round of DNA replication, also produced a single band when centrifugation. However, this band was higher or intermediate in density between the heavy N15 and the light N14. Actually, in the generation 1 only N15 was there, and in the generation 1 there are N14 and N15, but it's formed only a single band which is in between the lighter and heavier nitrogen. And the intermediate, that's why it is called intermediate band. The intermediate band here is showing that Michelson and Stahl that the DNA molecules made in the first round of replication was a hybrid of both light and heavy DNA. And this result fit with the dispersive and semi-conservative models, but not with the conservative model. Suppose if it is following the conservative model, then what it will show? It will show the two bands which consisting of one N15 and other will be the N14. But it's showing only a single band which has both intermediate of N14 and N15. Either it may be dispersive or semi-conservative model with the generation 1 analysis. The conservative model would have predicted two distinct bands in this generation, a band for the heavy original molecule and a band for the light newly made molecule. And after the analysis of the generation 2, the information from the second generation let the Michelson and Stahl determine with the remaining models, that is semi-conservative or dispersive, what's actually correct. When second generation DNA was centrifuged, it produced two bands. One was in the same position as the intermediate band from the first generation, while the second was higher, appeared to be labeled only with the N14. This result told that Michelson Stahl, the DNA was being replicated semi-conservatively. Why? Because it's producing two bands here. And the pattern of two distinct bands, one at the position of a hybrid molecule and one at the position of a light molecule, is just what we would expect for semi-conservative replication. In contrast, in dispersive replication, all the molecules should have bits of old and new DNA, making it impossible to get a purely light molecule. Suppose if it is following the dispersive model, there is no two bands, only a single band will be there. DNA replication is following semi-conservative, that's why we are getting two bands here. And the analysis of the generation 3 and 4, in the semi-conservative model, each hybrid DNA molecule from the second generation would be expected to give rise to a hybrid molecule and a light molecule in the third generation, while each light DNA molecule would only yield more light molecules. Thus, over the third and fourth generations, we would expect the hybrid band to become progressively fainter, because it would represent a small fraction of the total DNA, and the light band to become progressively stronger, because it would represent a large fraction, because only the first generation which consisting of the N15, and now there is no N15 for the bacteria to utilize for the replication. That's why when it is after generation by generation, that N15 when compared with the total nitrogen content, it will get faint, because the N14 utilization is increasing, and comparing to the total nitrogen, the N15 will be very low in quantity. And as we can see in the figure, Michelson and Stahls saw just this pattern in their result, confirming a semi-conservative replication model. Here you can see in the diagram, see first they have labeled the E. coli, or they have grown the E. coli cells in a media consisting of N15. This is N15, and they have collected the E. coli and purified the DNA, and they have centrifuged, and they got the band here which is a N15, and actually at this point N14 should come. And after the shifting of the E. coli into the N14 medium, they have, after 20 minutes they have collected the DNA and purified, and they centrifuged, and they got the band, a single band which is intermediate of the N15 and N14. Actually N14 should come here, N15 should come here, but they got after generation 1 intermediate of these two strands. It means it's not following the conservative model. If it is following the conservative model, it should get the two bands, one is N15 band and one is N14. Now they have not confirmed that whether it is a dispersive or semi-conservative. And after the generation 2, what is happening after 40 minutes, after the centrifugation, 50% is intermediate and 50% is N14 band. With this, it is semi-conservative. Why? Because if it is following the dispersive, there is a single band only. The thickness of the band will get increased, but it is impossible to get two bands if it is following the dispersive model. Why? Because it consisting of patchwork of both old and new strands. And after the generation 3, the light or N14 band is getting increasing in the thickness, and the intermediate band is getting decreased. And in the generation 4 also it's same. It is 88% of N14 band and only 12% of intermediate band. And if you see in this DNA, this is the generation 0, which consisting of only N15, and in the generation 1, the two strands of the N15 will get separate and new strands will get synthesized. So each DNA molecule consisting of one old strand and one new strand, that is one N15 and one N14. And in generation 2, see, the first, if you see, these two strands will get separate, each one, this is N15, this is N14, and new strands are synthesized. And here new strands can synthesize only by using the N14. That's why the two new strands will be N14. Here also the same thing. And in the generation 3, these two strands act as template, for one for this and one for this, and for this also one for this and one for this, in this way, in this way. So here it consisting of N14, a single band, and all the remaining DNA strands are with the N14, because the only source of nitrogen is N14, which is present in the media. So after generation 4, the N15 is remaining constant and N14 is increasing. That's why this band got increased in the thickness after 4th generation. And the conclusion of the experiment is that they have demonstrated that the DNA replicated semi-conservatively, meaning that each strand in a DNA molecule serves as a template for synthesis of a new complementary strand. Although Michelson and Stahl did their experiment in the bacteria E. coli, we know today that semi-conservative DNA replication is a universal mechanism shared by all the organisms on a planet Earth. See, they have done only in E. coli, but not only in E. coli, in all the living organisms, the DNA replication follows the semi-conservative model. And thank you to all.